so we have our pizza crust that we're going to spread out onto our Teflon sheets. Over here we have our dehydrator. And this is the smallest model that Excalibur makes. It's a 4 tray. It comes in 2 other sizes. Excalibur's the most common dehydrator used by raw foodists, I believe. It comes in a larger one, which is a larger square sheet, like about this big. And it comes in a 5 tray and a 9 tray. So we just have a baby one here. We have 9 trays downstairs, but we're going to use the 4 tray. The 4 tray is actually the one I have at home, even though most people probably have a 5 or a 9, and I really should have a 5 or a 9. I get by with my 4 tray and it's just fine. So we made enough pizza crust. Our recipe made enough to go, it actually exactly covers 4 sheets. And because I have a 4 tray dehydrator, it works for me. If you have a larger one, it's going to do over 2 sheets, maybe 2.5, I would guess, because you have a little bit more, I'd say 2 to 2.5 sheets of it. So I will show you how thick. What I usually do is with this recipe is I just divide it evenly between 4, and it always turns out to be the right thickness. But I think I know it off by heart. It's going to be about a centimeter thick, less than half an inch. More than 1/4 of an inch. So you want it about twice the size that you would spread out crackers. Raw dehydrated crackers are really quite thin, and this is going to be kind of thicker. About, if you can see the angle here, got a little bit of thickness going on. So you just spread it out evenly across the whole tray. It's nice to get your hands right into the food. It's really putting a lot of good energy into it. I think that's one thing we're kind of missing from our food, as well as nutrients. The energy and the love. So these foods are great for getting that. It's one of those really subtle things that you don't really notice, but I think it actually makes a big impact on us. Same as the power of touch, and all these things are so important, and sometimes we just don't realize how important until we don't have them and they come back. And it's the same thing with food made with love for you, and that goes with everything, like knitting a sweater, making a quilt, like anything that there's handwork and you're putting energy into. I think it's really important and very strong, and it makes a difference to us. We've kind of gotten a little disconnected, and it's kind of helps bring us back. There, that's a perfect, if anything it would even be a little bit thicker, which is really easy to do. Just put a little bit more in and spread it over. Good messy. I remember at Rawlish's when we were opening, we were doing this till midnight every night. It was crazy. I had never spread so many crackers and pizza crusts in my life, but it was a real group thing, and we were all getting together and staying here till midnight making and spreading all these crusts, and it was a totally crazy time, but it's amazing memories at the same time. It's such a good thing to do. It builds community. It's a real bonding activity. So there we have it. Now, 2 things you can do now. You can either score it before it goes in, or you can score it, or you can just put it in like that and cut it after it comes out. So I'm going to score it. I find it easier. You want to just press gently with a knife, especially with the ceramic knife, because it's really sharp and maybe not the best. Maybe like A bread knife would be better, a butter knife. And I'm going to do it in 6, cut it into 6 slices. You can also make this round into, make your pizza crust into a round shape, more like a traditional pizza. We do that usually at Rawlicious, make a nice round crust, and then just cut it the more traditional way. So now I'm going to put this in the dehydrator. And I have this set up, and actually yesterday I spent the day and made some pizza crusts at home. So I brought in so we can continue, and I can show you how to make the cheese. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to put it in and you're going to leave it for either 4 to 6 hours and flip it, or leave it for 6 to 8 hours, because you can do it overnight. You can do it before you go to bed and then leave it in overnight. So if you want to do it 8, even 10 hours, that's fine. And then you come to it after it's been in for a number of hours, and I'm going to pretend this is just half dehydrated. It's fully dehydrated, but if I came to this and it's half done, I've just taken it out of the dehydrator. So it's been on the Teflex on one side. You take this one on this side and you just hold it together and do a flip. Take this mesh screen off, and then you will peel this away. It's coming off easily because I did both sides, but if it was actually halfway through, it would be sticking just a little bit. Sometimes it sticks a little bit more if it's only been a couple hours. So you're going to peel this off. You can wash the Teflex sheet, and then you're going to take this and put it back in. So what you want is for it to be a total of about 14 hours, give or take an hour or two. So it's not going to really matter if you get it softer and it's more flexible, or if it's crispy and harder. It's going to be delicious either way you do it. If you leave it in longer, it's going to get more crispy. If you leave it in for a shorter amount of time, it's going to be softer. So the two things that really influence the texture of the pizza crust is how long you dehydrate it and how much oil is in it. Those two things really make a difference. So when I made it last night, I scored 2 sheets, and that's these ones. They're already pre-cut, and I left these ones flat. Everyone has their own preference when doing it. And if you want to just do it flat and cut them all when they come out, you just cut through like that. And sometimes the edges curl a little bit if you score it first. So that's why some people like to just cut it afterwards. It really doesn't matter which way you do it. It's all good. It's going to taste the same. But now you have 6 slices like this. It's just an more even cut. So I'll do my last sheet just so it's all cut up. And then we're going to put some toppings on it and serve it. So now I made 2 kinds of cheese that I have here with me. I have the cashew cheese that was made with nutritional yeast and not fermented, and I have the fermented almond miso cheese. So both are great. They're different, but both equally delicious. So now I have my pizza crust, and I have some almond miso cheese and the tomato marinara I just made, and I went ahead and chopped up a whole lot of toppings. We have tomatoes, pineapple, red pepper, black olives, and red onion. These are some of my favorite, but you can do any toppings you like. You can serve it right away. You can put the cheese on and the marinara on and the toppings and serve it right away. Or you can top your pizza, put it back in the dehydrator for an hour or 2 and let it warm up and kind of soften. You can also marinate some things beforehand to put on your pizza. Like if you want to marinate broccoli, cut up small and do marinated broccoli pieces, or marinated mushrooms. They're really, really good. So I'm just going to get a knife. It's very easy. We're just going to put our very special miso cheese on. And the tomato marinara. Put some of this on, spread it out. And then you just pick your toppings and top it. And I also have some pine nut parmesan to go on top because that makes it really special. So we'll put that on top after the toppings. So, tomatoes I like especially if I'm going to dehydrate for a little bit. I'm not going to, but I'll put a few on anyway. Not everyone likes pineapple, but it's one of my very favorite toppings. I find it goes really well with the black almond or the black olives, and the miso cheese is kind of salty, and the pineapple's sweet, and the red pepper, the red onion. Such a nice combination. So I'm going to make a deluxe one. I don't think I've ever met anybody that doesn't love pizza. Everybody loves this. It's a favorite. And it's nice just to have the pizza crust in the fridge all the time. I always have something, either pizza crust or crackers. I don't always have everything going on, but when you make pizza crust, it'll last for up to a month if you keep it in the fridge in an airtight container. Or even in a Ziploc bag. It lasts for a long, long time. So you can make it once a month and just have it on hand to serve anytime. And the almond cheese lasts for several weeks too. And the marinara for at least a week. So it's an easy thing to have on hand. Thank you. And there you have delicious pizza. That's it. Chopped parsley could be nice in there too. There's cilantro, chopped cilantro. Yeah, it's endless the things that you could put on your pizza. It's just like a cooked pizza. You can put anything on, and you can dehydrate it for a couple hours if you want to soften it, but really it's quite delicious just like this, and I usually don't get that far. So I get to eat it. Enjoy. Yeah, pizza is a great transition food. It's something that a lot of people who eat cooked just go naturally to and love. So it's also filling, it's good for you. Kids love it. It's great. It's a great thing to serve kids if you're trying to turn them into eating more raw foods and more healthy foods. And it's just awesome. Also, with the pizza crust, when you score them first and they turn up a little bit, we're just noticing how the cheese and the marinara and everything kind of stays in it. It holds it quite well. It's nice when it curls up just a little bit. So scoring it first might be a preference. Yeah, it's delicious, and I am sharing. I'm not eating it all myself.